All right, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 8. We are nerds in a box, and we are very happy to be back here for our 8th episode. Woo! Technically 8.5. We talked about our half episode a few weeks back. That's not the point.
Yes.
For those of you that are just joining us for the first time, first off, thank you. Second, I'm Sean Dwyer.
Dan Kiefer.
Tessa Barletta.
And we've been doing this show for, I guess, 2 months now.
Oh, yeah.
A little more than.
Oh my god.
I didn't even think about
2
that.
months
Yeah.
and a week, so that's been really great. So, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for the
coming
support.
back.
Yeah,
thank you for the support. Everybody's awesome. We had some comments on our posts on our wall this week, and we're going to talk about them in our show. Speaking of our show, tonight we're going to be talking about superhero TV shows. So we got a jam-packed show, so I guess without further ado, let's get started.
Woo-woo.
So, first thing we're going to talk about is the superhero that is on my shirt right now. That is The Flash.
Yes.
Yeah.
CW Tuesday nights at 8. That came on the air earlier this week. I love it. The acting's really great. It's got a great comic book feel to it with some of the elements.
It's cheesy while still being fun.
Exactly. And there are dramatic elements to it,
yeah.
too. So it's not like... It's not heavy-handed.
No, they picked a great cast, honestly.
I love Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin.
He's perfect. Like, when he came on Arrow, I was like, the guy from Glee, whatever, okay.
Yeah,
He did okay in Arrow, but then in the premiere, that's the word. He just knocked it out of the park, and I loved it.
Well, he did a great job of, embodying that almost Peter Parker vibe.
Oh,
And
yeah.
everybody loves Spider-Man because he's just this guy that, that could be us. And so they did a great job of making him seem almost like an everyman kind of person. And I loved what they did there. The big thing about that episode was that at the end of it, you find out Harrison Wells can actually walk. And that...
It's obviously from the future.
Yeah, he's from the future because he goes into the secret room and...
With crazy space tech.
Yep, and he pushes a button and then a newspaper article pops up that says the Flash disappears.
In 2024.
In 2024, and a lot of people are thinking that that's like a crisis, an infinite crisis thing going on, because that's... the creators of the show said that they're heavily influenced by the comic series, so people are wondering if that's where it comes from. But people are mainly wondering, who is this guy? Who is Harrison Wells? Because he's not in the comics. He's a brand new character just for this show, so you can't find out anything about him.
Or it could be like the John Harrison scenario from Star Trek Into Darkness,
Yeah.
where they just give him a different name.
I can see that.
Because I really think it's Reverse Flash, and everyone's like, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. But I was like, well, I don't know who else, because he's obviously, in 10 years, we're not going to have that crazy technology that he has in that room. So I feel like he needs to be farther ahead than that in the time travel.
I mean, the options on that, or the theories that are going around is Professor Zoom. It's another theories that is Booster Gold.
Which I would
From the
I
future.
would die if it was
Booster Gold would be interesting.
But he's a little too humble for Booster Gold, though. Booster Gold's too much of a show-off, I feel like.
Yeah, because Booster Gold went back in time to be a superhero.
Yeah, and to get famous.
Exactly.
So I feel like that's a little too under the radar for him.
Yeah. The other popular theory is that it's actually future Barry Allen. Because Tom Cavanaugh and Grant Gustin look very similar,
They do.
if you think about it.
That's true.
Tom Cavanaugh looks like an older Grant Gustin. So a lot of people are wondering if that's Flash from the future. And maybe he went missing because he had to go back in time
To save himself or
to
something?
save himself.
Or somebody else.
Yeah.
Exactly. So a lot of people are wondering if that's what the thing is.
That'd
and
be really cool.
They still have that cosmic treadmill somewhere out there in the
Yeah.
DC universe.
But then you go through the whole thing. He went back in time to create the thing to give himself powers.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a fan of creating that loop.
I can see that. I can see that.
Or maybe he went back to stop it. Like he knew that thing was going to happen, that they were going to set up that power, the accelerator and everything, and he wanted to stop it, and it still backfired.
True.
Oh.
That'd be really interesting. He's like, I came back to fix it, and I made it worse.
And whoops.
So, which is why he might be so crotchety and so like trying to get himself to get better at being the Flash quicker.
I
Just
guess.
Like, get better at this so we can fix what I did.
We're going to find out answers to that eventually, because we still have to deal with Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold, and he's going to be in episode 4. So he's got the parka, he's got the gun, he's got the glasses, he's got everything set. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be a recurring villain.
That's what I love about this too, is like, they don't this is a DC show that doesn't seem to have the DC syndrome of like, oh, it's too corny, oh, it's too this, oh, it's too that. It's like, throw them out in weird costumes and all, nobody cares, it's the Flash. So, like, I really love that they're letting go a little bit. And they're like, this is who we are, we're quirky and fun and dorky just as much as Marvel is.
Well, and I'm sure they're going to be making fun of it a little bit as well, because it's Barry Allen. He's quirky.
Yeah.
He's snarky. He'll say, like, why are you wearing a parka? And then he'll probably have some, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Nice to meet you. That'd be great.
And then just, like, everybody dies of laughing and cold.
What I loved about the episode, which is actually hilarious because this is the Flash, they wasted no time on exposition.
Yeah, no, they really hit the ground running.
Yeah, they hit the ground running.
I didn't mean to make a pun about it, but like,
I've been dying to.
It was just like,
yeah,
it never stopped. It just kept going.
They explained the whole mom thing in his past in like the first 5 to 7 minutes. He got the powers by like 15 minutes in, and like they just kept going, and that worked out really, really well. I think the pacing
that's really
helped
tough
them
to
especially.
do.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially like something as quirky and strange and off as that was.
I think it helped them especially. So, you know, Flash is definitely going to be something to look forward to. So, Tuesday, CW, 8 o'clock. Watch it, enjoy it, see the pilot if you haven't watched it already. And so, speaking of other shows that are on the CW, Arrow. Alright, so, talk about Arrow, talk about how you feel.
This is,
talk about your feelings.
I'll
take a break.
I love it so far. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. Everyone is evolving. Thea's off with, we don't see her in this one, but Thea's off with her dad, who's John Barrowman.
Right.
And, what's his name? Roy is finally Arsenal, who becomes Red Arrow, who's the sidekick. And they're doing much better with him. He's not just the angry guy in the corner anymore, which I also really like.
I know everybody's happy about that one.
He was so angsty for a while.
Yeah, that actor, I feel so bad for him. In every show he's ever in, I can tell he's a good actor, but the writing for him is always just...
Well, the thing is, it wasn't even the writing for him, the writing for Stephen Amell was bad. It's just that entire plot line was just put to the wayside.
Yeah.
It was not developed as well as I wish it would.
No, they were too busy focusing on Slade. But this one, they're picking it up and they're starting a little better.
Mirakuru, though. It makes everybody angry.
Diggle becomes a dad, and you can tell that Felicity and Oliver are getting closer.
Don't you mean Olicity?
Olicity.
Olicity.
I hate those relationship names. But Brandon Routh is already great in this one. I love when he's...
The Atom?
Yes. I hate when he plays like the good guy. Like, not that he did terrible as Superman. That was mostly the writing's fault. But I love, especially since Scott Pilgrim, I love watching him play just like slimy people.
It's the eyebrows.
Because he's got the eyebrows, but he's also got, it's just like a kindly face, but then he just...
It's got like this voice, because that was what he was in Chuck's. That he started off good, and then he became bad, and then, oh man, you love to hate him so much. He's so good at playing a villain.
Oh yeah.
Just a douche in general.
I love it. He's just, you can already tell that he's going to be an enjoyable character, and he's funny, and he's back and forth, and he's already trying to pick up Felicity, which is interesting. But the thing about this is, Sarah dies at the end of this episode. She gets killed by black arrows.
Ooh.
So, one, I want Nissa to come back and wreck that town trying to find, because I love Katrina Lost so much. I love her so much. And I just want her to wreck everything. I want her on that show as much as possible. But since Laurel is the one who's actually supposed to be Black Canary,
they're gonna do that.
I think they're finally getting around to making.
And the thing is, I hate Laurel.
I can't, because alright, that actress, when she was on Supernatural 9 million years ago, that was the only show I've ever liked her in, was Supernatural.
Okay.
Because everything else I've seen since then, I'm like, is it just the writing, or do you just not care? So I'm hoping maybe if this all happens, that she'll develop enough and maybe like her character enough, because in Supernatural she played a badass.
That's true.
So maybe she just wants to play a badass again.
And to be fair, when she went through her like depression time in Arrow, when like she was doing the alcoholism, like her character started to develop, and I didn't mind her nearly as much.
Yeah,
when she was stagnant.
Yeah.
I hated her because she just looked so bored, and if a character is bored, I'm bored, and I just don't like them. But when she started doing the depression stuff, like, she really developed these emotions. When she got upset, I'm like, okay, that's viable. Like, I understand you're still whiny, and I'm not a huge fan. but she actually had a reason to do things.
But yeah, as sad as I am to see Katie Lux leave, I am excited that we will finally maybe see some moral development on the horizon.
Yeah.
Hope to God.
Speaking of shows that can break your heart, we're going to be talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. next.
Well, I can do this one.
Another Whedon show.
Episode
not that
3.
Arrow
Another
is,
Whedon
but,
show.
Yeah, I was going to say not that Arrow is, but a Whedon show that breaks your heart. Before we start this,
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to John Cherbino who
Yes.
commented. Thank you, by the way, for doing that. He apologized to Dan for talking ill of a Joss Whedon show, and he mentioned.
I'll talk to you later.
Mentioned that it's good, but this new season seems cliche and kind of boring.
I would ask if he's seen the most recent episode, because the first two were kind of like the first run of the show where it was like, we have a mission, we go out, we come home. This one,
kind of like Monster of the Week thing.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Especially with the Absorbing Man and all that. But no, this third episode was the one where I feel like, first of all, we have the whole team. We've seen the whole team now, and they're finally getting into this is what's going to happen for the rest of the season, and they're hinting at stuff clearly down the road for what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
To Simmons and other people. But I love how May and Skye are developing. That is so cool. I love it. I love how Grant Ward, because I loved what happened with Grant Ward, and everybody hates him, but I just want to see where he goes. Because I can tell that actor was took that and ran with it.
Oh, he's doing a phenomenal job.
And that scene...
With Fitz?
That scene with Fitz. I was about to cry. I was so... Oh my god.
Now, with what you said, Jeremy, I'm going to directly speak to you.
Would you like to
through
sit in
the camera?
Seat, Dan?
No. But I can see what you mean by things are getting a little cliche and cheesy, because in my opinion, if you're not a fan of Coulson, as Coulson is, it can easily come across as cheesy.
Yeah.
Between that and the newer people...
Oh, like the Mercenaries?
Yes, the Mercenaries, that's the word I was looking for. Between that and the Mercenaries, it can get a little forced, but with...
Also because we don't know these people yet, not like we know the other characters.
Exactly, and with the latest episodes, with it kind of being... It's being more espionage-y than it is, we're funded by a giant corporate organization, or a government organization. And that new espionage kind of feel could come across cheesy. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm loving where the characters are going, but I can see where you're coming from on that.
I would say give it through. If you've watched the third episode and you still think it's cheesy, maybe rethink watching the show, but if you haven't watched the third episode yet, that's what really... Maybe it was like, wow, this season is going to be intense.
So, big things for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming up. I'm going to have to catch up. I need to catch up.
Raina touching the thing and living.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry.
We'll move on.
Yes.
Yeah, so, moving on, because I have to keep going, Gotham. Now, have you been watching Gotham?
Yes.
So, we've all been watching Gotham. Marcellus Cutler commented he doesn't see how the show can sustain itself. And I understand that criticism after watching the first 3 episodes, because my problem with it is that it's almost like it seems like they keep cutting back the young Bruce Wayne trying to be Batman too much.
Yeah, I feel like they need to. I like him peppered in, but I feel like they do need to focus a little more on Gordon. I feel like their problem right now is they haven't hit their stride yet. They haven't found their groove. They haven't found their their
tone?
their tone.
Yeah.
Perfect. Because Arrow has a tone. Flash already has set up a tone.
Yeah.
Right.
And Gotham kind of keeps going back and forth as to what it wants to be.
Yeah.
And it just kind of needs to find it and hit with it. But what I'm also, I wanted to remind people, I was talking to the other day, it's the show's not called Gordon, it's called Gotham.
Yeah.
It's about how Gotham becomes what it is when Batman comes around. So yes, it's about Gordon and his rise to the police force. And it's about, because you can see the criminal underworld through Penguin.
Exactly.
And I love how already he's slipping in under into Maroni's bucket through there. I love that in this last episode.
That was great.
And you get to see it through how it's affecting the children of Gotham through Selena and Bruce and the police that are on the outside who are actually still trying to do good and who have been there throughout through Renee.
Because I think it could easily just be a cop show, just they involve the mob, and it could easily just be a procedural cop show if that's what they want it to be, and show you, like you said, Gotham like getting worse almost, getting better but getting worse at the same time. You know,
and I think that's the problem people are having is because they want it to be either Law and Order or like Boardwalk Empire. They want it to be one or the other, and the problem is the show's trying to be both. It's trying to give you both sides of the city at the same time, and they haven't hit a stride with a way to do that yet. That's not kind of back and forth yet. So once they find that way, then I think we'll be. I'm hoping this episode tomorrow. Yeah, I hope so.
As much as I like Bullock, I'm finding like his acceptance of the law, or his lack of enforcing it, kind of frustrating. Because like, it's been good the first 2 episodes, and the 3rd episode he's like, "Oh, we don't have a body, and he got what was coming to him, so we don't need to investigate this." I'm like, "Are you what?" I'm like, so it's to the point where it's like some guy got what's coming to him, so we don't need to deal with it because he's a bad guy. And
I think he's just really lazy.
I think he's lazy. I think he's not necessarily a bad person. Like, unless the situation is right in front of his face and he's going to be a villain if he doesn't do it, I think that's the only time he'll ever do anything.
I guess, but like the first 2 episodes played with that so much better, and this one's like, oh, we don't need to investigate this. Like, the citizens are going to...
Well, hopefully they'll hit their stride in the next couple.
Yeah, they need to.
Yep. And I think what might connect it is, since Oswald is back and is apparently not leaving, Gordon will be even more connected to the underworld through Oswald and the spy. So it might finally fuse together, and maybe Barbara will get a job. And things will get better.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. So I guess Marcellus, we agree and disagree with you at the same time.
We agree but are hopeful.
Exactly, yeah. So, that's Gotham. Meanwhile, we have 2 questions.
We're going to have to try and make them quick.
Yep, yes. Alright. So, the first question, oh god, I hope I pronounce this right. Trivla? I feel like it's...
I'm pretty sure it's Trivia.
Or is it Trivla?
It's an L. It's an L.
Is it?
Yeah, it's an L.
Because it's a line. When I see it, it's a line.
Oh, really?
That could be a capital I.
Oh.
Okay, so it could be that.
Trivia.
I can see that. So, maybe it is that.
Trivla.
I'm so sorry if I totally butchered that, which I probably did. But anyway, so, you asked, what are some random civilian jobs for superheroes? So, what do you think?
Yeah, my favorites that I came up with include Pym and Reed Plumbing.
Yep.
Which is Hank Pym and Reed Richards as plumbers. Banner Constructions
and Hulk Demolitions.
Yep.
So Banner can help you build things, and the Hulk can help you demolish things.
Yep.
Storytime with John Jones.
He's like Mr. Rogers for the new age.
Because he's got that smooth, velvety voice.
And he can shapeshift into all the characters.
Yep, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Puppet Theater with John Jones.
So, there you go, random civilian jobs, superheroes. Thank you so much for asking us that question. And then the other one actually came from one of your friends at work.
Yeah, he was talking to me about who would win in a fight, whether it is Human Torch or Pyro. Now, the fun thing is Pyro can manipulate fire, and Human Torch can create fire, but he's immune to fire. So...
Which, my thought is, they both think that Human Torch would win, but I think that if Human Torch gets up in the air and Pyro can manipulate the fire off of him, suck it all out of him, then he could fall on the ground and die.
I was going to say, that's why I thought he'd win, but when you mentioned that, I'm like, wait, no, I don't know. Because that turns into a fist fight, because...
Well, if he falls, far enough.
Well, yeah, but... I guess. But I feel like he would know that Pyro can control fire.
True.
Because they've worked together.
Then just be a fist fight.
Yeah. So, it's a fist fight, and I don't know who would win. I mean, Human Torch got the crap beat out of him by civilians in Civil War, so...
Well, then again, I guess it's because he probably didn't fight back.
Yeah, he didn't fight back either, so I don't really know. I'm going to say Human Torch because I like Human Torch.
Fair
enough.
I'm going to say Pyro because he can be kind of a jerk. Because he's kind of like that gray area person.
Yeah, that's
true. So he wouldn't be as afraid to pull punches.
That's true.
That was a question from my coworker, Hanif.
So,
which brings us to our new thing that we're going to be doing on our
Yes. From next Saturdays, right?
Yeah.
Next Saturday on, we're going to be doing this kind of poll thing on Facebook called Superhero Showdown. So we're going to pick 2 different heroes, maybe a hero and a villain, maybe 2 villains, maybe 2 side characters that have absolutely no correlation with each other, and pit them up against each other. And we're going to ask you, who do you think would win and why? And then we'll probably pick our favorite answers and put them on our podcast. But definitely we want to hear your opinions on it. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We'll probably do our own answers for each of them. But we hope you guys enjoy it as well.
Anyway, so I guess it's pretty much all the time we have for this episode. However, I will say that we're up to 839 likes right now.
Woo.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for liking our page, liking our content, commenting on stuff. We love it. We love being able to answer these questions.
We love you.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, Dan. So, thank you so much for doing this. Like I said, when we hit 1,000 likes, we're going to let you guys pick what we do to celebrate, as long as it's like, I think PG-13 rated for the most part.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be fun. We're going to be dressing up for Halloween, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
We're going to come up with Halloween themes pretty soon. If you have any suggestions for topics, things you'd like to see, please let us know, and we will do them. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it.
Sounds good.
You guys good?
I'm great.
All right.
How are
well,
you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank
Awesome.
you. I'm great.
Glad to hear
All
that.
right. So, that being said, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for watching us for the first time, if you are joining us for the first time. So, signing off, we are Nerds in a Box. I'm John Dwyer.
Dan Kiefer.
Tessa Barlotta.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.